video, I'm going to talk about why a new forefoot runner may experience soleus pain. The soleus is a muscle in the back part of the calf whereby many newbie forefoot runners usually commonly report that their soleus muscle is on fire and that it's very tight and stiff either during forefoot running, but especially after forefoot running. And here's why that is. The soleus pain experienced by a new forefoot runner is what I like to refer to as adaptive pain, because the soleus is now waking up to its normal engaging role in forefoot strike running, which is to help control ankle plantar flexion at touchdown, which means the forefoot or the front part of the foot points downward towards the ground to effectively set up the foot to land on the forefoot, which is shown here. See how the landing foot is pointed down at touchdown? That is ankle plantar flexion. And in this position, the soleus undergoes eccentric contractions, which means that the muscle is lengthening under loading in efforts to reinforce stability of the foot ankle complex when the forefoot is lowered to strike the ground and when the rest of the foot is lowered down to the ground after initial contact is made with the ground on the balls of the foot. In all, the soleus muscle takes center stage in being a major contributor to exerting greater control over balance at the foot ankle complex when the forefoot strikes the ground in forefoot running, in addition to providing a more stable base for the foot ankle complex during the initial touchdown phase of forefoot strike running. The soleus acts as a defensive barrier by helping reduce the downward acceleration force of the center of mass, which is the head and the torso, at touchdown during forefoot strike running. So, as you can see, the soleus has a pretty loaded role to play in forefoot strike running. It's partly responsible for footstep security, helping your forefoot strike balance control stay within a very safe range, assisting in getting your forefoot strike as targeted as possible at touchdown, and helps narrow the margins of downward forces acting on the leg at touchdown. Ultimately, in forefoot strike running, the soleus helps minimize impact while helping maximize footstep security so that your forefoot strike can be made more effective. From this, it is very understandable that a new forefoot runner, especially with unconditioned calves and soleus muscles, may be slightly prone and vulnerable to soleus stiffness and pain because the soleus is now stepping up its engagement, being engaged in a way that it's not used to. It's this ongoing bursts in muscle activation and engagement that it's not used to. So the soleus muscles just need a little more time to play catch up to a new running condition. And eventually, the increases in activation and engagement in the soleus muscle during forefoot strike running will eventually translate into sustained functional strength. And once the soleus has fully adapted to forefoot running, which they will, the pain will eventually subside and hopefully never return. For a side note, and most important, I think, is that studies, which I've linked down below in the description box, have also reported that the specific engaging role of the soleus during the touchdown phase in forefoot strike running may help effectively shift mechanical demands away from the knee and the quadriceps, which may help free up mechanical stress and strain on these areas, which is another reason forefoot strike running is so prized at helping alleviate and prevent runner's knee as compared with heel strike running. In other words, it takes the soleus muscles engaging role in a forefoot strike landing pattern to potentially help make running easier on the knee joint and the quads as compared to heel strike running, where a lot of the mechanical work comes from the knee joint and may burn out the knees, which may also suggest why runner's knee is more prevalent in heel strike runners than in forefoot strike runners. And also linked down below in the description box are my videos on the link between heel strike running and runner's knee if you want to check that out as well. So I just thought it would be very important to address some of the elements like sore soleus muscles common to learning forefoot running, why these elements may pop up when learning forefoot running, and why it's not often the most alarming thing to worry about, because in many cases, soleus pain can be directly tied to learning forefoot running, because forefoot striking during running is going to help update and improve the functional role of the soleus in its capacity to work as a more effective balance stabilizer, as well as strengthening its role in countering some forms of impact. And that overall, with more forefoot running experience, you are actually well on your way to developing stronger protections via awakening the soleus muscles, bringing these muscles more on board to help you potentially run better long term. As for dealing with soleus pain, rest is always best, but like myself, a lot of runners are very stubborn. Rest is not really taken seriously, and with that said, you could probably run through it, but just be more mindful and sensible about your mileage volume and speed intensity. But as for stretching, I always suggest to stretch under the direction of a physical therapist or someone along those lines, because many times a lot of runners overstretch or have absolutely no clue what they're doing when it comes to stretching, and they end up stretching inappropriately, which can take you into very dangerous territory in either prolonging the injury or making the injury much worse. Sure, elite runners or runners who run for a living stretch, but they are also training under a team of sports medicine doctors and physical therapists who strictly lay out precise guidelines under their direction. This, unfortunately, is not the case for the average runner. So if you are going to stretch, get tips from, like I just said, a sports medicine doctor or a physical therapist or massage therapist, someone that knows what they're doing, so that you know exactly what to do, how to do it, and when, so you don't worsen the injury. I hope you've enjoyed this video. To stay updated on the latest research regarding the benefits of forefoot strike running, as well as the latest research regarding the health and performance benefits of barefoot running, feel free to hit the subscribe button down below. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Have fun out there on the roads and trails. Bye for now.